This is a reading for somebody who is grounding their desires into material reality. We have Scorpio and Earth as the astrological energy that is crossing you right now. And this could be something that began for you, especially during Scorpio season. I'm recording this at the very end of Sagittarius season in 2025. So it could have began for you around like mid October to mid November that you really started looking at what it will take for you to bring something that you have maybe been secretly desiring to fruition. You maybe started looking at your options and what you had available to you to be able to bring this vision to life. And I feel like, too, with the eagle here, that you have been very much guided in like where to move the resources, right? Like you're learning how to be a very good steward of the resources that you have and understanding how when you take like radical responsibility, yeah, for sure. When you take radical responsibility for tending to your garden and making sure that your garden is fully nourished, fully watered, that this is where the magic really happens. I love where this reading is going. If you're new to my channel, my name's Ash. I am an astrologer and intuitive psychic channel, and I like to do readings specifically around the archetypal energies that we are stepping into. So, if this general reading resonates with you, then I'm going to be sharing with you what you're invited to level up into in 2026, the energy that you're going to be working with in the year ahead from whenever you're watching this reading. So, I see a situation in the past. We've got the Knight of Cups and the King of Wands. This could be a person that you potentially connected with that reignited this desire within you, but it could also be you really like finding what you're passionate about, what you really care about, and like what you really want to create, and becoming the person who is able to hold that. And you had to learn how to navigate both the emotional, intuitive, and self trust and faith to bring your vision to life, as well as the creative and the visionary and the leadership, like how to become a emotionally attuned leader is what's coming up for me here. The deeper emotional feeling that you're having about this right now is the Chariot, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Ace of Swords. So I feel like you have many different options, many different tools that you're seeing really clearly how you can use these tools to move yourself forward, to steer your ship to not only the destination that you want to go towards, but I'm seeing also potentially the relationship that you want to step into. And there's a sense here as well that this relationship that you're stepping into is one that feels like home. And there's a lot of loyalty and trust that is a part of this connection. And the way that you're consciously thinking about this right now is for one thing, bringing up the constellation of the lovers in the tarot. So we have both the lovers and the devil, which these two cards are connected to each other. They are a part of the same story within the tarot. And what this story is about is how we open ourselves up to being in connection with ourselves, with somebody that we care about, and also with all of the universe. And how when we are stuck in a story about what is wrong with us, when we're persistently asking ourselves, what is wrong with me? Is this normal? Am I normal? Am I being normal? That this steals, this is the Seven of Swords here, this steals our ability to truly be seen and truly be invited to the table is really the phrase that's coming up for me here right now. And I see as well that over the next 2 to 3 months, you are going to be continuously invited to release some of these stories that you have developed around why your approach or the way that you do things is not normal. And when we think about what's normal, I always think about, well, what's normal for you? And I was just having a conversation with a client about this yesterday, that when we limit our expression of who we are in a relationship to based on what we think we should be doing and what's normal to do, and we're holding back on what's authentic to us, we're actually preventing ourselves from being fully loved and from being fully seen. So I feel like right now you are moving through some shadow work and some emotional and mental deconstruction around what you're allowed to share and who you're allowed to be. And part of this is embracing your independence and like knowing that you have your own back and knowing that you are fully led. And we also have these two bald eagles here in this card. So bald eagles might be very significant for you right now. You might be seeing them around as signs, and when you are seeing them around as signs, they are letting you know that you are fully guided, you're fully supported. I also do feel like potentially there is a paternal ancestor, maybe a grandfather, or maybe it's an ancestor from your father's side of the family who is coming through to you um, as a bald eagle, potentially a Scorpio man, a Capricorn man. Take it if it resonates. If it doesn't, then that's okay too. And the highest and best potential outcome of the situation is the Emperor, which is you really owning yourself, your whole self, your full self, as the leader in your life, as the owner of your wisdom. And there is a understanding that is ready to be revealed to you about how you can be stable while still remaining in flow. And you do not need to be in control of every aspect of the plan in order to see what you desire come to fruition. So The archetypal energy that you are invited to step into is Anima Mundi, which is actually the exact same card that came out, and 1010 is on the timer as I am pulling this card and talking about it. So, Anima Mundi is actually the exact card that came out in my reading that I did yesterday. So, I would definitely, this is totally confirmation that that reading is also very much for you. I go into more depth onto what that archetypal energy means, what it represents. So, definitely go and watch that reading. But part of what I'm getting here is that as you really focus on like your side of the vision, you are connecting yourself to the people or the person who is also bringing their vision to life. And you don't have to be responsible for bringing somebody else's vision to life. You are responsible for bringing your own vision to life. And through doing that, you actually create space for other people or for another person to have their vision come to life too. And I tell a story about that in the video that I shared yesterday. So definitely go watch that video. Your guidance is amazing. We have ask for what you want, daily practice, sensitivity, and vision board. So I definitely feel like you are invited to be in a daily practice of asking for what you want and using your sensitivity to be a guide for you as to what is working for you and what it is time for you to let go of. Now, vision board is very meaningful to me. I teach a process called creative visioning, which is a manifestation process based around vision boarding. And it is actually a daily practice. Um, there's 4 steps to the process that allow you to activate and animate your vision board so that you can bring it into life in partnership with the universe. So there's a very clear invitation here for you to maintain some kind of daily practice like this, whether it's the approach that I take through creative visioning, if that's something you're interested in. I teach it inside of Creative Visioning School, and you can check that out. But if it's not, then there's tons of amazing resources on YouTube, or you might already have a practice that you do. But the biggest thing I would say about this is that vision boards are alive, and we can use vision boards not only as a map for what we desire and like we're literally putting what we desire, we are asking for what we want, we are asking for what we desire, we're putting it into a container, and then we're using that as a map to reveal to us the next best steps to take. And when you create a vision board, like the biggest mistake I see people make is that they make the vision board and then they just kind of set it to the side and they're not going to it for guidance. So definitely you're going to want to use the vision board that you create to reveal the steps for you to take. So if that's something that you want to learn how to do, I teach it inside of Creative Visioning. Otherwise, you can find your own approach, or maybe you already have an approach that works really well for you, and that's amazing. Over the next few weeks, as you're transitioning into this season of your life, we have spring and water. I feel like potentially there's going to be a rain that's going to happen where you live. It might like for where I live in Iowa, and we had sleet this morning. Okay, so it might be something like that where it's like instead of snow, you're getting rain potentially, and this is really marking this new beginning, this fresh start energy for you. But it could also be a new opportunity that's coming to you that's going to make you cry, and it's going to make you feel connected to all that is, because this tear or this raindrop or this water drop is also making me think a little bit about um, the earth. But also, as I'm talking about it, it's making me think about a seed, a seed, like an emotional seed of this new opportunity, this new way of life that you are stepping into, where you're in, you're so sensitive to what is happening, what you're being guided towards, that it just becomes this way of life where it's like, I feel like this is the right move, which reveals that this is the right move, which is what reveals that this is the right move, and this is taking you through the bridge of incidents, leading you ultimately to your manifestation. I do feel like there's a person here. I kind of want to get another card about that. The Judge. Very interesting. So, this person that I'm sensing, they could be potentially a Libra or have Libra energy in their chart. They could work in a field that requires them to be very discerning, or they might just be a very discerning. I'm kind of getting a little bit of King of Swords energy off of this. They might be just a very discerning person. Sorry, my thing just came on. My battery's about dead. Interesting. So they could be a very discerning person. You could feel potentially like this connection with this person is done, or like the energy is kind of fizzling out. But you're also, I think, being asked to be discerning about what is really happening here. And I feel like it's coming through mostly as an invitation to trust in the transformational energies that are happening here. This kind of reminds me a little bit of a dragon's eye. So I feel like there's something here around allowing the magic to unfold without trying to control it. And that this is part of how you're meant to be discerning in this situation, is understanding that, like, you are being moved how you need to be moved. And you need to follow. You need to follow the bigger picture. Don't get bogged down in the day to day of what's happening here in this connection. Because I'm also seeing this card is 14. So it feels like there is something that is ending and something that is stabilizing at the same time. And you're not going to fully know what is completely moving out of your life and what is completely being the foundation of where you're going, until there is this emotional cleansing. We have the tear at the bottom of the deck as well, which is really confirmation on this water. There's going to be something that's going to move you to tears, and it's going to feel like a new beginning. And you're going to be really, I feel like, in questioning until this happens, because you're trying to be very discerning about the situation. But when this happens, there's going to be this really strong inner knowing of this is right. And I'm looking at this tree in my backyard right now, and there is this like notch on this tree that looks also very much like this dragon's eye. Um, you're connecting in with something that's very ancient, and ancient timelines, ancient ways of engaging with time don't always move at the rapid pace that we are used to in our modern world. You're invited to slow down. You're definitely invited to slow down, connect in with your vision every day. Don't lose sight of the bigger picture of where you're going. And remember that you are the one who is in the driver's seat of where the story is going. Part of being discerning is understanding your power as the soul, as the self in the driver's seat to bring yourself to your desired destination. So, if this reading resonated with you, if it was helpful, if you're interested in more, I do private readings. I do astrology readings. I do a reading called a cosmic story session, where we dive into the archetypes that you're invited to step into, and we also look at how they're going to be showing up and how you're going to be working with them over the book of your life using a technique called zodiacal releasing. And then I also do shorter PDF readings that are just focused on the archetypal energy that you're going to be working with in the year ahead. And they include actually a vision board uh, that you can use actually as guidance. There will be like signs and synchronicities and symbols for you to follow as part of your guidance in the year ahead. So, links for all that stuff is in the description of my bio. And thank you so much for trusting me to do this reading for you. Definitely go check out the Anima Mundi reading that I did yesterday. I feel like there's definitely additional messages for you in that. And with that, I will let you go and finish this reading right at 22:22.